wine. Just recapping on part one, the part that we're focusing on John chapter 2, where Jesus turns water into wine, where you discover that Jesus was at the wedding in Cana, and while he was there, wine ran out. And when the wine ran out, of course, his mother Mary went to him and to ask him to do something. And you know the conversation. But anyway, what I wanted to, just a short recap for like a few minutes. Short recap is that being accessible, it is not to be mistaken with being, or being friendly should not be mistaken by being accessible. As a human being, as a person who, as we know, protecting your peace and so forth, that you should do all your level best not to be too accessible, because in being too accessible, you rob yourself of your essentials. We're going to talk about essentials as the series carries on, but be careful by being too accessible. People should know how to get in touch with you. People should know you are friendly, should be friendly to open. You should be open, but not to be too accessible. You can be open, being friendly, but not to be accessible, because there's a fine line that sometimes it can be crossed and you end up losing your peace and your sanity simply because everybody has access to you. Everybody do not know your boundaries. Everybody do not know when to say, okay, that I think this is too much. Because even in the business of dealing with people, bringing the people business, we need to maintain the right, you need to reserve your right to be inaccessible, and most importantly, you need to know which people you should not be accessible to. Yeah, that's just a recap. That just a point that I forgot to emphasize. Today, what I wanted to talk about is, now in the party, in the miracle, of course, everybody's having a good time. Everybody's having a good time, and the wine runs out. Now, when the wine runs out, of course, the party or the wedding takes a disappointing turn. The mood changes, because what kept them, not that the wine was the main attraction. The main attraction was the wedding, the bride and the groom and the festivities. Wine was just one of the things that made them jolly, right? And so when it ran out, it kind of, it was like, it was the instigator. It was the thing that got the things going. It kept things moving. The wine was not why people were there. People were there because of an event, on occasion, right? So when the wine ran out, now a certain mood, people didn't leave the party, just the mood was different. The mood was tense. Now we generally, as the story does it, the miracle, it doesn't say when did the wine run out, in the middle of the party or towards the end, or just started. We don't know. All we know, in the middle of the festivities, while the festivity was going, the wine ran out, and that was the problem. And I want to talk about the wine running out, because what is important in life is to understand that as human beings, and this aspect is that nothing is ever going to be constant. Things will run out. Whatever you thought you could do consistently, there will come a time where you run out of juice. The most important thing in this lesson is that nothing in life is constant or consistent. Things will take a sharp turn. Either it will go extremely low, or it will take a different form than what you are used to. I've heard in arguments some people commenting regarding relationships, they'll say, don't introduce me to a lifestyle that you can't maintain. Now, I don't believe that someone would start a relationship or introduce you to something that they consistently planning not to maintain. Nobody starts something to fail. Nobody Of course, you have those deranged ones, who take a pleasure making out of making other people miserable. But generally, genuinely, nobody starts something, nobody approaches a woman, nobody starts a relationship because they want to end it. You always have a long-term plan for it, but somehow things do run out. For whatever reason, things do run out. And also, that's part one. Part two, what I wanted to touch on is that, as human beings, and I've seen it with myself. In fact, with my I love to observe human beings in general. I like to stare and I like to observe people as they go about their lives. Not that I'm judging or critiquing, it's just something that I do because I think people fascinate me. I think they're, of all the species in the world, humans are the most fascinating of them all. And one thing I've noticed is that all of us, we carry an aura of mystery about us. We carry an aura of magic. It is not what makes us, it's just part of the ingredients in who we are. And one of that is the images that we portray, that we project. Everybody has a certain image that you project, that you want people to see and know. There are very few people in life that get to know the real you. Most people get to know the image that you've projected. Some is deliberate, some is by default, some they don't even know that they're doing that. It's just that I've met people who appear to be extroverts, but when you really get to know them, they're very much introvert, they're very shy. Just that if you put them in a particular space, they are different people. So all of us, we have this magic about it. It's like wine. It's magic. It makes us attractive. In fact, if you've noticed in social media, one of the things you'll notice, especially Instagram particularly, one thing that you'll realize with Instagram is that everybody, because it's mostly photogenic based, it's unlike other platforms like Facebook or any other, where it is mostly your thoughts that people get to know. On Instagram is the pictures, either pictures of you or things you've taken or something, but it's pictures. And one of the things I've noticed, especially with Instagram, is that everybody portrays or posts a positive picture, either positive of themselves in the gym, a positive picture out in a restaurant, anyway. Selfies are very positive. There are very few people that I've followed on Instagram where I see negative pictures of themselves. Most people have positive pictures of themselves. Everybody projects an image where they want to show us that they are successful, that they are used to fine dining, that they are used to traveling, that that everything of theirs is together. Now, I'm not here to judge whether that's true or not, but I'm just saying that is the image. Obviously, of course, with some, when you come closer because you're attracted to the image they projected, you will know a different story. Either you'll discover that the image that they projected, it is actually a small glimmer of actually what they are. Maybe they're bigger than what they are showing. And some, you'll find that the image is what they are, and on the other side, it does not match. You'll find that certain things, they're just not corroborating with what you've seen. And then some of us, we get disappointed. Some we get wow. But I do not blame it, because all of us have a little bit of magic. Magic is there. It is the wine. And one of the fascinating things that I mentioned is that wine is not you. It's not the complete character. It is not your character. It is like a personality. Now, a personality, it's something that you sometimes make out in order for you to interact with the world that we're living in. It is not who you are. Character is who you are when nobody is watching. That's what character is. And so sometimes personalities, they run out. The juice runs out. You get into a relationship, you thought this guy, this girl was something, they turn out to be not. That's just life. Things do run out, just like in the party. Now you realize that you are stuck with this person whom you love. It's not them that you love, but it is the wine that you loved. I hope you're getting that. There's this thing that happens in life, and we do this so often. We fall in love with the wine. Wine in the whole story, the wine was not the main attraction. Wine was just one of the things that they found in the party. The thing that people were interested in was the wedding, not the wine. But sometimes you find that the wine ran out. And so even in our lives and our relationships and whoever we are, you find that we've made the things that's supposed to perhaps enhance who we are, our talents, the way we do things, the images that we project, our personalities. Personalities, sometimes we've turned them inversely and made them our characters. And that's the biggest mistake. Sometimes the biggest problem is that you are now your personality. If people know you as a joker, of which is a sense of humor, everybody has it, but now if you've made that your personality, that is when you're a problem, because you are not always going to be funny. You're not always going to be adventurous. You're not always going to be whatever image you projected. You're not always going to know the fine dining. You're not always going to have money. You're not always going to travel. Now, if people have fallen in love with a personality, the wine, now what do you do when the wine runs out? Now that is the crux of the main question, is that what do you do when wine runs out? And one of the things I discovered as I was reading on wine is that 80% of the wine is made out of water. It is for this instance that Jesus tells them to fill it up with water, because water, it is the base of wine. It is not the alcohol, the ethanols, or these other chemicals that make water wine, but the base is water. So what am I trying to say? There will be times where things run out, the fun, the personality, everything come at a standstill. And what do you do? It is for you to go back, for us to go back to the original. We do an internal study of who we are. And once we do an internal audit of who we are, then we discover the water, the very thing that makes us who we are. Because if you believe the image you project and you start to believe that who your character is, what are you going to do when you don't have that anymore? What are you going to fall back to? Because sometimes our characters is what we fall back to when our personalities fail us. And so, and that is that Jesus, he says, let's go back to what makes wine. And wine was water. Water is the base of who you are. All of us have a character. All of us. There's nobody who does not have character. All of us. And I think it's maybe we are not happy with a character that we opt to be wine instead of water. And by the way, water is the most important resource ever. Wine is not. Nobody can wake up in the morning and drink wine when they're thirsty. You need water. So what you feed your character is what you fall back to. Our characters is who we are, because in order for you to maintain the personality, you have to make sure that your character is fed. And you feed your character with good things, positive thoughts, thinking good of others, not to believe the hype. One of the biggest mistakes we have in our world is that we have people who believe the hype. By that I mean, if you're good at something, maybe you're a good preacher, maybe you're a good singer, maybe you're a good organizer, good communicator. You know, these are attributes, the wine. These are not who you are. Nobody's character is a preacher. You know, it's something that you can do. But look into what you can't do. Something that your thoughts, who you are. Are you an honest person? Are you a loving person? Are you a positive person? Are you a person who speaks well of others? Those are the character of who you are. That even if you can be waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, that's who you are. This is your default setting, not the filter, you know, not the amplified things. This is who you are. Strip away of everything. Strip away the makeup. Strip away the haircut. Strip away everything. That's who you are. And so Jesus took people He says, fill the jars with water. And they filled it with water. So maybe today ask yourself, what is my water? What is my default setting? Not the personality, not the thing that get me likes, not the thing that makes me fill the room, not the clothes I wear, not the car I drive, not the house I live in, not my bank account, not my profession, not my wife, not my husband, but me, who I am. This is who I am. And once you get to the core of that, it will be in a